car safe.
Okay,
Where are we going again?
we're going to go to the end of Belmont and back.
We're in
Piedra?
Fresno.
Not all the way there, but yeah, Piedra Road, a little past that. Right before it starts to, where the flat ends and it starts to roll. And then we're going to come back. So, okay, William knows the stuff I'm going to tell you. I've been doing this workout with him for quite a while. Okay, so take your bikes and turn them around. Face that way. Hey, cycling community, this is Steve Bruce's The Cycling Greek. Monday was a holiday for many of us, and so a few of us decided to do a workout, a tough workout, a paceline workout. So what you're seeing right now is I'm doing the pre-workout talk. The reason I'm doing it is so that we're all on the same page. The person in front there is somewhat new to cycling, certainly to group riding. He's done some group rides. But I wanted to go over the basics of pacelining and also how to be safe with that. You know, keep your line straight, no jagged moves. When you pull off nice and smooth. When you pull off, go just 1 to 2 miles an hour slower than the fast side coming up, and no surging when you go to the front. And also, what do you do when you want to rest at the back, and how to do that as efficiently as possible so you're using as little as energy as possible. So after that talk, we rode for about, we started a workout, and we rode for about 20 minutes before we met up with another teammate of mine, William, and he and I have done this workout quite a bit. And another rider, Kelly, who happened to be there. She was just finishing a ride when she met up with William. And then she decided to join us for about a mile before she turned off to go home. But she was enjoying the workout so much that she just kept on a little farther and farther. Eventually she did the whole workout with us. This is a very wearing workout, and there's many different formats that you can do. Because this is the off season and when we want to work on our endurance, we did 30-second pulls, and we stayed between 18 and 21 miles an hour for most of the ride, for the first half of the ride. And one of the riders, in fact, the new guy up there, he was starting to get worn out a little bit because he's never done something like this before, and so I just had to dial it back a mile on the top end, so we stayed between 18 and 20, and then he was good with that. I mean, he was working it, and he was good and tired afterwards. We were all good and tired. This is a very tough workout. It wears on you. It helps your endurance, and relatedly helps your stamina. And there's different formats that you can do with it. So right now we're doing the more endurance-based paceline workout. And the format is, along with the 18 to 21 miles an hour, we were taking 30-second pulls. When you first start doing this workout, you're thinking, man, this isn't going to be too tough. But like I said, it wears on you. Depending on your form, you can feel it anywhere between halfway through and the end of the ride. By the end of the ride, I was getting hungry. This is a non-stop ride. We did this for a little over 3 hours. Non-stop, we had a couple of red lights, but other than that, it was non-stop. We just kept going and going, and that's why it wears on you. And that's why it builds up your stamina. Even though we had a variety of abilities, everyone did well. Paceline was good. I never had to stop the group to say, okay, let's regroup, and this is how you do the paceline. Everything went well. As part of the prep for this to get ready for the ride, I let them know that that this was going to be a non-stop, and that they had to have enough water and calories with them. And since this was a cooler day, 2 bottles for the 3 hours was going to be enough. It's a good thing that I brought some gels. I had stuff in my water bottles, but I still needed those hammer gels. And I had to take a couple of them throughout the ride because I was starting to not get close to bonking, but I can tell I was on the way there. Now, when I was doing this, in fact, both Kat and I were in our small rings and using high cadence. And I was going to do that for about half the ride, and I was figuring I would be a little too tired on the way back and have to go to the big chain ring. But she stayed in the small chain ring, so then I stayed in the small chain ring. The reason why I would go to the big chain ring, or I was planning on going to the big chain ring, is because I could rest a little more. But there was no rest this way with the small chain ring and the high cadence, because you're just always spinning, always spinning. And that's probably why I was so darn hungry and eating a lot afterwards. So this workout can modify a transition, and you can do it throughout the year. So right now we're doing 30-second pulls. If there were fewer people, as you can see, we had about 5 people there, and so 30 seconds was great. But if we had 2 or maybe 3 people, then it would have been closer to 45 seconds or 60-second pulls. Now, as you get into the season, you can modify this by cutting down the time at the pull So let's say 15 seconds or 10 seconds and increasing the speed. And so for our group, that speed would get up closer to 24 miles an hour. But it's not the season now, so that's why we're doing 30-second pulls for this particular number of people, and we're just keeping it between 18 and 21 miles an hour. I highly recommend this workout. Not only because of the physical benefits that you can derive from it, but from the teamwork aspect of it and building camaraderie. Okay, that's it. I'll have the Strava to this workout in the description below. For those of you that have other types of team-oriented workouts, comment on them below. I'd love to get some more examples that I could work with my group. And after you comment, like it. And if you haven't subscribed after you like it, subscribe. The Cycling Greek.